What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the overall markets. I'm also going to break down how the charts are looking moving forward and what you should be watching for as time goes on. But just note that I am not a financial planner, so make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Webull link. If you deposit any amount of money, you're guaranteed 12 free stocks. If you deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 in total. And deposit $2,000 or more, and you're guaranteed 40. Anyways, now let's talk about the market. So I just want to say that so far we're doing a good job at holding up. We're seeing some buyers trying to defend, and the question is, can we see even more upside? That depends if we could break this key resistance. So I'll talk about this in just a minute. Just know that for today, we just got the Richmond Fed numbers. The manufacturing numbers were once again not as bad as expected in terms of our manufacturing index. The manufacturing shipments were also not too bad. And then the services revenue was also not too bad as well. So all the data was like so. I would say not too bad. And as soon as this data came out, we did see the market attempt to push a little bit higher after a couple of minutes. So this did help the market to some small extent, but it wasn't really enough to really get the market to like pump a lot more. So the market's trying to push a little bit, but it didn't get a big pump off the data. It's just kind of like minor. So the question is, what's going to happen from this point on? And that's why I want to break down some levels. So when I go to the 5 minute time frame, you guys could see that just like this, SPY has dipped quite a bit. We actually gapped down and started this like downtrend during the pre-market session. I mentioned to everyone that upon open, we would be anticipating a little bit of a dip, then we'd see if we get a bounce or not, depending on our key supports. So we did dip a little bit more, but then I said there could be a bounce. That's what happened so far. If we break this 200 EMA as our resistance, which happens to be very close to where our 4-hour 20 EMA happens to be, they're almost the same level. That basically signifies that the 582.2 area is tough resistance. If we could manage to break this, I think we will fill this gap back up towards just under 584. It's going to be a big pump coming if SPY could once again hold above 582.2 during the 4-hour close. So that's not bad whatsoever. As of right now, we're just kind of like shopping around. So we're going to give this some time to develop. So I'm going to be watching to see, as long as we're above 580, this does have potential to rebound. We're looking at 582.28 as our resistance, and there's a more upside potential. But we'll see if we get that break later on during the day. I think the odds do favor us trying to push higher for 584 all over again, but it may take a while for us to get that move. We'll see if we break past 582.28 or not. There's a good chance we will end up doing it, so we'll see how things end up going. The chart still favors upside a little bit more looking at this trend. Now, on ES, we're seeing something very similar. So what happened to ES was basically that we saw a bit of a dip, basically, and then we ended up getting bought back up. So we had a very similar move to SPY, and there are buyers defending it. As long as we don't lose 58.71, this is favoring a move back up to 58.87. If that breaks, we're looking for 5900. So far, we're just range bound, going back and forth and back and forth. We could dip a bit before it tries to push higher for 58.87. And eventually, 5900 is going to be our next target. There's potential for us to try to push higher, but we'll see if we break our 20 EMA. So give this the time it needs. For Nvidia, we are more bullish. We're making higher highs and higher lows, but just know we have this tough resistance up here at 144. And 144 does not crack. This does have potential to dip back down a little bit lower. So we're looking for a very nice chop zone between 142 and 144. We might just continue to go back and forth for the time being. But if we manage to break that 144 resistance, I expect another big leg up. So far, Nvidia is going to consolidate in this range, so give it some time to develop. For Bitcoin, we're also consolidating. We have resistance at 67,773 and support at 67,000 flat. Whichever way we break will determine a much bigger move. I think we may just continue to consolidate before it attempts to rebound. So give this the time it needs. It's going to be very pivotal for the way that things develop. For Tesla is dipping so far. We actually are struggling to break past our 20 EMA on Tesla, and we have 215 as our main support. So I think that we could dip a little bit closer to 215 and just remain kind of like range bound. I think that's going to be the most likely case, at least for Tesla, but there's not really a whole lot else that's going on. But I do believe that Tesla could be making a much larger move and could go either way, depending on what we end up seeing. So I think that we're waiting for earnings basically for tomorrow. That's going to be determining a much bigger move for Tesla. Otherwise, the chart remains range bound. For NQ, this is very choppy. As long as we don't lose 20,400, this chart is still favoring the upwards direction. And we could be looking for a pushback up towards 20,500 or even higher than that. But Whether or not we get that break depends on many different factors. I think that we do favor upside a little bit more for 20,500 plus. A little bit that looks a little bit more probable to me. So long as we don't lose 20,400, I see potential in that. The QQQ would also trying to rebound. Notice how we're riding our 15-20 EMAs very nicely. As long as we don't lose 493.5 and 491.2, I think this is favoring a push for 496 plus. Once again, up to where this imbalance happens to be. This is favoring that it wants to be pushing back up to the highs from yesterday or even above. As long as we don't lose those two supports I named. Apple's doing a good job at holding up. As long as we don't lose 233.9, we do favor a push attempt for 235. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. For Netflix, we pushed very, very nicely to 775. I mentioned to everyone that this thing is showing some signs of exhaustion. So anticipate some downside. We have dipped a little bit. We're down 0.6%, back down to about 765. So we'll see if we get a bounce or not. The IWM came all the way down to 220 only to rebound. So we're going to be looking at our support right over here at 221 is going to be one support. We have resistance at 222 and then 223.36. If we get back above those two levels, we're looking for a much bigger push. For now, we'll see if 222 breaks. I think we might be testing that on the IWM. For Coinbase, we dipped all the way down to 207 as predicted, and now we got a rebound. We'll see if we manage to break 215 or not. But so far, we're doing a good job. Amazon's doing a good job at holding up. We'll see if we can try to hold above 190. There is potential looking at the symmetrical structure and the fact that we're making higher lows. So it might be pushing for the next imbalance towards 191, as long as we can try to get back above 190. Meta's trying to rebound. We had a falling wedge I was talking about. We're doing a good job at breaking through that. So it's a good sign, at least for Meta. Could be looking for 578 and 580 very soon, as long as we hold above 578.4. We're looking for 580 as our next targets. Microsoft looks more bullish. We're looking to see if 425 breaks. If we do break, though, we're looking for much higher targets. If we lose 421, we're looking for a dip. So this looks a little bit more bullish to me. We're also looking for Google's hit 168 very soon. It's doing a good job at holding up. So we'll see how well this continues. But so far, we are seeing more buyers stepping in. With that being said, guys, the market is looking like it's seeing buyers stepping in, trying to push us back slowly. We're holding our key supports very, very well. So there is some upside potential. However, we need confirmation. We need to see SPY hold above this support. The 4-hour 20 EMA is going to be key. We're actually just added right now. So we'll see if we continue to hold this or not. If we do, I do favor upside. If not, just be a little bit more careful. So far, we're kind of shuffling near this resistance, but there is potential in the chart thanks to that. So we could attempt to bounce on SPY and the others. With that being said, I will be back hopefully in a couple of hours for another update video. I thank you all so much for listening. So please have a great day, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Thank you for listening. The market is looking a little bit more in favor of bulls for the time being, as long as we can break some key levels and we maintain our structure, and we're looking pretty good. All right. So thank you for listening, and peace out.